few ghost stories. We are at the beginning of October, and we have entered spooky season, so I thought sharing a few ghost stories would be appropriate. I hope you enjoy the ghost stories, and I hope to continue this storytelling time in future videos. So relax, close your eyes, and listen to the sounds of hair and my voice as I tell these scary stories. So let's go. Story number 1. The Last Ride of Officer McKinley. In 1976, Officer Paul McKinley vanished while responding to a 911 call on a remote road known for mysterious disappearances. Decades later, rookie Officer Jenna is assigned to patrol the same road, long since abandoned. One night, she receives a distress call from Martha leads Olivia to more evidence hidden in the walls, revealing she had tried to expose the traffickers, but was murdered for her efforts. Her spirit is trapped, seeking justice. As Olivia tries to bring the truth to light, the ghostly figures grow more violent. The traffickers had long since died, but their spirits remain, determined to silence anyone who uncovers the truth. In the final chilling act, Olivia finds herself surrounded by the spirits of the traffickers and their victims. Martha's ghost revenges. Martha's ghost intervenes, but the basement becomes a battleground between the innocent and the damned. The video ends with Olivia being pulled into darkness, leaving only a flickering light and Martha's voice whispering, "It's not over." Story number 3. The Phantom Killer of Ridgewood Asylum. In the 1960s, Ridgewood Asylum was the site of a series of brutal murders of patients, all seemingly committed by another patient who vanished after the killings. The case was closed when the asylum shut down, but the killer was never caught. Decades later, paranormal investigator Alex visits the now abandoned asylum, intrigued by rumors that the killer's ghost still roams the halls, reliving the murders. Alex sets up his equipment and begins documenting eerie phenomena, unexplained footsteps, cold drafts, and faint whispers. He reviews old records and learns that the killer was believed to be possessed by a malevolent entity driving him to murder. As the investigation deepens, Alex starts experiencing visions of the killings, seeing the ghostly figures of the killer lurking in the shadows, always watching. The final night of Alex's investigation takes a horrifying turn. He begins trapped inside the asylum, and the spirit of the killer begins to take over, forcing him to relive the murders from the killer's perspective. In a heart-pounding climax, Alex tries to escape, but the asylum seems to shift and warp, keeping him trapped. The video ends with Alex's final chilling realization. The spirit hasn't possessed him, it has become him. The scene fades to black as Alex, now the killer, walks through the asylum halls whispering, "I'm still here." Story number 4. The Curse of Blackwater Cabin. In 1998, a family was brutally murdered in their cabin at Blackwater Lake. The killer was never found, but the locals whispered of a curse tied to the land. 25 years later, Mia, a true crime blogger, decides to investigate the unsolved case, renting the cabin to research the crime scene. The first night, she hears scratching at the door and footsteps circling the cabin, but no one was there. Cat ASMR. As Mia dives deeper into the case, she discovers that the murders were part of a larger pattern dating back centuries. The land was cursed by an indigenous tribe, angered by settlers who desecrated their sacred burial ground. Each family that has lived on the land has never met a violent end. Each family that has lived on the land has met a violent end. Mia begins seeing the spirits of the murdered family, but they seem more like warning than threats. The real fear comes from something darker, something ancient tied to the land itself. Please enjoy this cat ASMR. In the final act, the curse intensifies. Mia is plagued by visions of past murders and the original desecration of the land. The spirits of the murdered family try to guide her out, but the curse manifests as a dark, formless entity haunting her. As Mia races to uncover the final piece of the mystery, but it's too late. The video ends with Mia trapped in the cabin. She screams, blending with her whispers of the dead as the entity closes in, ensuring the curse continues. Please enjoy this cat ASMR. Story number 5. The Haunting of Ravenhill Hotel. In 1923, a prominent businessman was found dead in room 307 of the Ravenhill Hotel. His body mutilated in a way that suggested a ritual killer. The case was never solved, and the room has since been sealed off. Decades later, the hotel reopens and room 307 is turned into a storage space. However, guests report hearing strange chantings coming from behind the door at night. Emma, a hotel employee, becomes curious about the rumors and decides to investigate room 307. She finds old photographs and a journal belonging to the businessman, which details his involvement in a secret society that practiced dark rituals. As Emma reads, the air grows colder and she begins to hear chanting, just as guests had reported. Shadows flicker in the corner of her eye, and the door to room 307 slams shut on her. Emma is drawn deeper into the mystery, and the spirit of the businessman appears, warning her that the ritual is unfinished and that the society plans to complete it, using her as the final sacrifice. In a terrifying climax, Jenna finds herself trapped in room 307 as the spirits of the society members surround her, chanting in an ancient language. Emma screams, and the scene fades to black, leaving the sounds of whispering chants echoing in the darkness. mysterious